My name is AJ Woodyard. I'm the Technical Crop Production Specialist with BASF, and I was going to focus a little bit more on the U.S. results of this global perspective study. And one of the things that I think was really interesting from a U.S. perspective, it was mentioned that U.S. growers see themselves about 88% satisfied in their careers. That number has actually increased about 6% since the study was last conducted in 2011. So we do see a shift in the happiness or satisfaction of U.S. growers, even more to the positive side over the last 3 years since the study was last conducted. So could reflect probably some good conditions that we've had, good economic conditions that we've had for growers over the past 3 years. What was also very interesting is we asked the question about innovation, and we all know that we've got to feed a growing population, so we need to increase production 70% by 2050, and that's going to be a big number that's going to require innovation, and all of us in agriculture know innovation is going to be a piece of that. But we asked the question of growers and also consumers of whether they see the need for innovation in crop protection or in pesticides, for example, as a part of growing more food. And the number of growers that said that, not too surprising, about 82%. A large majority of growers said we need innovation in the area of crop protection. When you got to the consumer side in the U.S., that number was about 50%. And so you can see how that gap is there between what the producer perceives and what the consumer perceives as a need. And I think we could argue maybe why that is. I think a big piece of it is education and the need for more education at the consumer level. We also think that one piece of that could just be complacency in the U.S., that we've got food at the supermarket. We're not in dire need of food, so the consumer may not believe that innovation is needed in their small picture of the world versus what we know we're going to have to do over the next 20 to 30 years in increasing production. So those are a couple of very interesting finds that we saw from a U.S. perspective, centered around grower satisfaction as well as innovation. One of the other big pieces that we discovered is the desire of the producer to get closer with their manufacturers as well. And so the desire to get closer to the seed person, the seed company, the chemical company, and so about 65% of producers said we need a closer relationship with those manufacturers. So one of the things that we've done coming out of that is introduce a position called an innovation specialist within BASF, and that person works directly with growers to provide not only information on BASF products, but also just be an agronomic resource for that farm, and also to help encourage that message and that education for that producer broader spectrum, because we all know to close that gap in consumer and producer, when we talked about innovation, it's going to require education efforts being made by the industry, the ag industry as a whole, and especially in some of those urban environments where they just didn't grow up around agriculture. This study will actually be released here in about 3 weeks, and so it can be, if someone is interested in the study, they'll be able to access it at farmperspectives.com when that study is released and see it in its entirety.
This video is brought to you by Farms.com.